Hey everyone, welcome to the third episode of the Control Corner on Kayfabe TV. This time we're going to be featuring one of the most infamous decks in the current modern environment. It's Mono Green Tron. Yeah, it's about time we did this deck list. Let's have a look at the deck itself and some of the options from the sideboard. So Mono Green Tron, yeah. This is a pain in the ass deck for most people, but I love it. I really do like this deck a lot. So we're playing a few creatures in this deck. You're probably very familiar with how this deck is put together, but I'd really like to sort of showcase how I built this particular deck. So we're playing 3 copies of Walking Ballista, Mr. Value Town, and we're playing 3 copies of Wormcoil Engine, Mr. Big Value Town. So both of these creatures, card advantage, difficult to remove. Walking Ballista can get gigantic in a long game. Wormcoil Engine, immediate value. It's a huge body when it's played. Value, of course, when it dies too. You get 2 3/3 worms out of it as well. So really, really difficult creatures to deal with. Also playing a single copy of Worldbreaker, which can come back into your hand. It can deal with artifacts, enchantments, or lands. Don't be afraid to snipe opposing lands with this guy. He's big too. He'll reach as well, so he'll block opposing flyers. And we're playing 2 copies of one of the big bads. It's Ulamog, the Ceaseless Hunger. Gigantic creature. Cast this, game's basically over. You attack with it once, attack with it twice, yeah, it is game over. So this particular card can be powered out by this deck as early as turn 4. And that puts a huge and immediate clock on your opponent. It is very, very difficult to deal with. So what really pushes Mono Green Tron into the realm of viability is its crazy, powerful Planeswalker base. We're playing 4 copies of Khan Liberated and 2 copies of Ugin, the Spirit Dragon. So Khan, he can come out as early as turn 3 with a full Tron mana base. He can have an immediate impact on the board, being able to remove any permanent. This includes lands. And he can also exile cards from your opponent's hand too. So puts them on a clock. You know, turn after turn you're going to be able to decimate their hand or their board. And the guy gets gigantic too. He can tick up to 10 loyalties straight away, which just makes him really, really difficult to kind of attack into too. There's not many 10 strength creatures, apart from the ones that we play, that can come out early in a game that can start putting a dent in his loyalty base. So Khan, great card. Ugin, same sort of principle. He comes out a turn later, you know, potentially as early as turn 4, but he deals with a few more permanents. He's basically an all-in dust on a stick. He can also fire 3 at the head, straight to your opponent or one of their creatures, and he ticks up to his ultimate in, you know, just a couple of turns. His ultimate is quite an accessible thing. It's much more accessible than Khan's is in this particular deck. Being able to play, you know, 7 permanent cards, draw 7 cards, gain 7 life, you know, that's really good. As early as turn 6, you might be able to get this off. Maybe turn 7, I should say. Yeah, huge impact. These guys are really the centerpiece of the deck in terms of controlling what your opponent can play or has played or can do. Yeah, these guys are really the cornerstone of the Tron build. So playing a few instants and sorceries in this deck. So the first 8 that you see here are really just to find either our Tron pieces or some of our sort of strong creatures and planeswalkers and permanents. So we've got 4 copies of Ancient Stirrings and 4 copies of Sylvan Scrying. So Ancient Stirrings is there. It'll help you look through the top 5 cards of your library, and you can choose a colorless card from among them and put it into your hand. This also includes lands, so it's a good, cheap way of finding that missing Tron piece. You can also put any of your planeswalkers or any of your creatures into hand as well. Sylvan Scrying is there purely to find those Tron pieces. So if you're missing Urza's Mine, go and grab it. This is an important card. You know, I'd say one of the cards that's just a cornerstone. The deck really can't be played well or consistently without Sylvan Scrying in the main deck. Also playing 2 copies of Dismember and a copy of All Is Dust. So this is our removal. in spell form at least. We've got plenty of removal in our Planeswalkers, our creatures, and one of our artifacts as well. There's a few roles that our artifacts play in this deck. So Chromatic Sphere and Chromatic Star are there to fix your mana, get that green mana if you need it early. They'll also draw you a card, which will help find potential Planeswalkers or Tron pieces. You can use these to get green mana. You can use it for black mana too if you need to play Dismember that way. So yeah, really essential. They kind of cantrip, so they sort of replace themselves straight away. Expedition Map, same sort of thing as Sylvan Scrying. This is going to help you get your missing Tron pieces. That is mainly what it's for. It happens to cost 1 mana to play, 2 mana to use. So by turn 3, if everything goes well, you can have a full Tron setup. We're also playing 3 copies of Oblivion Stone. Yeah, this will nuke everything that you need it to, each non-land permanent without a fate counter on it. You can set up some games where you're going to use fate counters strategically, but really it's there to reset the board. If you don't have a strong board presence, this will do it for you. So lands, well, pretty straightforward with this deck. You know at least what some of the lands are going to be. We've got the Tron pieces, but we're playing a single copy of Sanctum of Ugin, a copy of Ghost Quarter, and 5 forests to round out some of the mana base. And then, yeah, we've got the Tron here. So 4 copies of Urza's Mine, 4 copies of Urza's Power Plant, and 4 copies of Urza's Tower. I don't recommend going any less than this. I don't know anybody who would ever do that. You need all 3 pieces to really go off with this deck. So yeah, it's essential that you play 4 of each. For the sideboard, pretty standard stuff again for Green Tron. I'm playing 3 copies of Nature's Claim. This is a good thing to target opposing Blood Moons or Blood Suns, or really anything that's going to give you trouble. Spreading Seas, yeah, you're going to be able to nuke it with this one. It doesn't really matter so much that the controller of that particular enchantment or artifact gains the life. We've got big enough bodies here that it doesn't really matter at all. It's not really a drawback. Playing a single copy of Pithing Needle and 2 copies of Relic of Progenitus as well. Got a couple of copies of Spatial Contortion, a single copy of Crucible of Worlds, just in case you're going up against a Ponza deck or Land Destruction deck. And then we augment our creature base with 3 copies of Thought-Knot, Seer, and Thragtusk too. These guys are value sticks. They're going to get, either take something out of your opponent's hand or gain you some life and create more bodies. So pretty valuable creatures to play in this deck too. So this is a really popular deck for Modern. Mono Green Tron has been around for a little while now. The core of the deck is really stay the same. Doesn't matter really if the colour shifts away from green. You're still going to have the kind of key core pieces at your disposal. It's a pretty good investment for Modern, I think. This is always going to be one of the role player decks in the meta. It does have some pretty tough matchups though. Counterspells, really heavy control decks. Blue Moon, sort of Blood Moon decks, Ponza decks are always going to give this kind of deck trouble. Something that relies on a very particular mana base like this one does generally has a tough time. A deck that needs to resolve key spells is going to have a tough time against an opposing control deck, opposing counterspell deck. But it is a fun deck to play. It's nothing quite as satisfying as having all 3 Tron pieces in your opening hand, or being able to get all 3 into play in the first 3 turns and then play a Khan or an Ugin. So yeah, lots and lots of fun to be had with this deck, even though it's quite an annoying deck to go up against. Hope you guys have enjoyed this video. It's been really fun making it. Appreciate any feedback that you guys have. Just leave a comment in the comment section below. I've included the deck list in the description. Go and check it out. Let me know what you think of it. It's a pretty standard deck list. There's nothing too crazy about this one. It's more or less solved for this deck at the moment in its current iteration in the Mono Green Tron style. This deck is pretty solved. There's not really a lot of new inclusions that we've been finding from the last few Magic sets. The core has stayed relatively similar since a long time now. So we'll catch you on the next video, guys. Thanks once again for the support and everything. And we'll be back really soon with some more gaming content. See you then.